In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to add a little bit of RGB to your Phanteks MV7 case to make it go from this to this. So I got my case, built it. I love the case. I love the layout. I love all of the cable management. Everything about the case is really good. It's big, but not too big. And I'm able to put everything in it. I got tons of RGB. I got everything all over the place. There's one thing that this case doesn't have, and that is the little trim piece that is available on the MV7. And I definitely would have loved to add it to it. I think it would have added just a little bit more alongside of the line that they have, which is great. I added in a ton of my own RGB. You can watch my other video where we added more RGB to our GPU cooler fans. Got the Infinity mirrors all over the place, the G.Skill, the Asus ROG Strix motherboard with the RGB on it as well. So I want more RGB. I want a ton. I just want to deck this thing out with so much RGB that it's kind of crazy. So I started to think about ways that I could implement the similar setup to what the NV5 option is for the added RGB. And on there, it appears to be an acrylic that follows the case around the top and bottom, around the outline. And I got to thinking about what options I could do. I could obviously cut an acrylic and put it in there and put some kind of a side LED to it to light the acrylic up, and that would totally work. But what about an easier option? Well, the same strips that we used to create these halos around our fans can easily be used inside of the case. We have these strips here, and I have applied a 3M backing tape to them. So the plan will be to try to keep in sync with everything kind of flowing in this direction. I'm going to start the strips over on that side and have them flow this way. That'll also allow me to tuck the wires behind the fan, keep everything nice and clean. I want to try to keep as minimal wiring as possible in here. So that will help me to hide a lot of that. And I'm going to do it top and bottom. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and shut the computer down, unplug everything, make sure that we're good to go there. And then we're going to start to install. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm just running the wires back in the back of the case there, since that is where my controller is in the back, and you'll see that at the end of this video. I am peeling off the 3M tape. It's really pretty simple, especially on the NV7. It's obviously going to depend on the case that you're using as to how you want to go about installing these and where you want to place them, but the 3M tape is going to make it a lot easier to do. So they are relatively flexible strips, so I'm able to get it in the corners pretty well, and it doesn't affect the LEDs themselves. Now they do not fold in the other direction, they just fold back and forth like I have there. And they are easy enough to cut to length. Now there are solder pads on there, but they are ridiculously small, so if you're pretty good at soldering, that won't be an issue. If you're so-so, I wouldn't recommend it. But the plan is to have these as kits that are short enough so you don't really need to cut and solder or any of that stuff. So moved on to the top side now, just routing that up in there. So kind of following the same thing here, just lining it up, pushing it up into that corner, giving it a nice little bend. That way it takes the shape of the case real well. And the strips are pretty sturdy in that way. They'll take it. And then just cutting it and lining it right up there. Now on the back side, in the case of this one, I did have to make my own connections. That will not be the case for the kit. So you will fortunately not have to worry about all this. But I figured I'd let you guys kind of see just what's involved with the current kits that I have. And it's basically just power, ground, and data. The yellow wire is the ground wire, red is the power, and the black is the data. It's not exactly typical for addressable, so that's why I do mention the color order here, just in case anybody is trying to change the plugs out and kind of do their own thing. Just remember that yellow is the ground and black is the data on these strips. So you want to make sure that you get the wires nice and tucked, keep them nice and clean in there. Obviously, you don't want them wrapping around anything or touching anything that gets really, really hot, but they are pretty sturdy, so I don't think you have too much to worry about. Hey guys, so I want to hop on here real quick. I recorded this video about a week ago, and in that time I have been working on trying to get some kind of a kit like this together, and I do have them in the works now. So there will be kits. They will be 75 centimeter long strips. There will be 2 of them, and we were going to have a controller as well that will be able to both have a remote and it can tie in with the ARGB header on the motherboard, so you can do either one. The hopes being that that would be something to help if you find this is something that you might want to do. I believe this will work on quite a few different towers, and it's going to depend on what tower you have. I think they look really good on the NV7, but because of the size and the compatibility being that same GRB color order, I think there's a lot of applications where this is going to work, and I'm trying to get at a price point that will be relatively competitive, and it will be a kit. So we're going to have 2 strips, we're going to have the controller, and I think I'm going to include 1 extension and several adapters depending on what kind of connections that you make. So look out for that when it comes out. I don't want to say a price or a complete kit yet. I may offer some of the extensions and things as like an add-on just in case, and that way you can kind of get what you want but not pay for stuff you don't need. So it depends. I'm going to play with it and see what I can do, but I really like how it turned out. I've had it for a week now, and it was something that I could get made specifically for this, so that is going to go in the works. So look out for it. I'll probably do a video when I do actually get them in. So there you have it. We got the strips in. I think they look amazing in the case. It definitely brought it out, made it pop a little bit more. I love the way that it wraps around, added in the middle, the side, the fans, the infinity mirrors all over the place. All in all, it's a great case to showcase an RGB build. Very happy that I went with the case. A few little upgrades, a few little touches. The GPU, I kind of wish I would have known that it was so dim on the RGB, but that wasn't too bad to address, as well as the lack of a case strip was a little bit disappointing as an option, mainly because the NV5 had one. So seeing what they did with the NV5, I really like that look, and it was nice to bring it into the NV7 as well. So thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and like if you found this video helpful, and that way you won't miss any future videos that we might have coming up. I'd like to do some more stuff in the case at some point. I'm gonna have to go ahead and put it into service now, but in the future, definitely look forward to some more RGB within this case and within this build. I would love to do a lot more PC related stuff. You guys gotta let me know if that's something you guys want to see. But until the next video, thanks.